this is a topic that we haven't been able to, touch on too much. We've been in between seasons here. But the Washington professional football franchise, yes, that is what I'm going to call it. Let's talk about this name, the mascot. We've heard a lot of reports of, it is racist, or, they say they're conducting their own private research and saying that it's not racist, that Native Americans actually don't mind it. I mean, Marv, what do you think?
Let's rewind a little bit. And when I looked up the word redskin in a Merriam-Webster dictionary, what came back was informal and offensive. Right there from the Merriam-Webster dictionary, it said informal and offensive.
I would consider that a scholastic resource.
Exactly. And when you think about it, redskins is a negative term that was used towards Native Americans. And even all the way down from college to high school, they're also changing their team names that were the Redskins to other names. For example, the Miami of Ohio University was called the Redskins but changed their name. University of Utah were called the Redskins but changed their name. Now only in high school, only 62 remaining high schools have the name Redskins. So there is a movement going on. And when you think about Daniel Snyder having a key opportunity to be more open and having an opportunity to teach the meaning of Redskins and teach more about the Native American culture, I feel like he just dropped the ball. Just like the NFL has done this entire season with Ray Rice and with Adrian Peterson. They had opportunities to progress. They had opportunities to teach. They had opportunities to give young men better opportunities to know what American history is like. But instead, what he wanted to do was, I'm going to take my ball, I'm going to go home. And which in turn gave him a negative connotation, which in turn gave him negative PR. Instead of him being the good guy, instead of him being the white knight, as Olivia Pope would say in Scandal, what turned into was that he turned into a jerk. What it looked like from a PR move is that he's insensitive. It looks like he's a racist because he won't take that proactive approach to, well, maybe I should consider the Native Americans, even if it's a small group that disagree with their team name, maybe I should take a stand and change the name to something else. I see that fans had contributed lots of different logo designs, lots of different name designs, and different things of that nature where it could be a positive outreach, it could be a positive outcome, but instead what Daniel Snyder and what the R's organization is doing right now is not doing anything. And what it's really teaching is that oppressors control all the power. And you can take that in different languages, you can take that in different ways, but if you're an oppressor and you have all the power, who cares what everybody else thinks?
Absolutely. I mean, before I even touch on the topic, I mean, me personally, I know when someone asks me about this question, I start by saying, it's not necessarily my place to tell you how I feel about this, about this team name. I'm not Native American, so I can't really tell you, it's right or it's wrong. But I mean, just listen to it. I mean, let's first touch on kind of the NFL dropping the ball. We're talking about a commissioner, Roger Goodell, who came in, with an iron fist. He was disciplining people left and right. James Harrison and him have their history because he thought he was being so stern and so strong on the players. And then as of recently, especially in terms of managers, you've got Jim Irsay, the Colts owner, taking so long for, action to happen to him. And then you have Roger Goodell backing Daniel Snyder and the Washington football professional franchise in their name, saying that it's not an insult. It's a term of endearment. And it's, if you can walk up to a Native American and if you call them that, I wonder what would happen. I don't think they would feel very endeared. We kind of like to compare this to the N-word with black people, which obviously, we're more apt to speak about. And it's so straightforward. I mean, but for people to say that this is different, it's a team name, it's different because, it's used to be trademarked by the franchise.
It's a strange
very
dynamic.
Strange, yes.
It's a strange dynamic, and it's a bad PR blunder. That's what it really is. Because, like I said, he had an opportunity to teach. He had an opportunity to be in the forefront of a social change, but instead he's being reactive instead of proactive to the situation. And this is what's causing the Washington franchise right now to be a little bit lackluster. I'm a big believer in karma. I believe the way that you treat people and the way that you do things, karma will show its head. And Washington for the majority of the part, has been a lackluster franchise. They have had some good years where they
Great years in
went
the past.
went to the playoffs. Joe Gibbs years with the Hawks and everything, winning the Super Bowl. But as of late, they've been a mediocre franchise, to say the least. Now you're having problems with Robert Griffin. Your season is not going as good as it should be. You thought that you was going to be in a playoff contention. Now, with losing, with this going on, with the bad PR, now it's just a Molotov cocktail that's ready to explode at any time.
Not to mention when you contrast everything that Goodell is doing in the league with Adam Silver in the NBA, the National Basketball Association, where Sterling makes his remarks and the players, they kind of jump to the forefront, led by LeBron James, and he kind of gets him to sell the team to Steve Ballmer there, and then you've got all these comments. It seems like Adam Silver is more. He's taking those steps. He's being more proactive rather than being reactive. Like I would consider Goodell being passive on this because he thinks it's not that big of a deal. But those are the types of things that need to happen so you don't have a Ray Rice situation or to a smaller extent a Adrian Peterson situation. When something's wrong, it's wrong, and you just got to know and do what's right.